Good afternoon, council, town staff. See, we have quorum. Call this meeting to order. Motion put forward by Councillor Kaur, seconded by Councillor Hahn. Be resolved that the July 15th, 2019 council meeting be now reconvened. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. The show is on. Oops, not that one. Okay, and now, motion put forward by Councillor Hahn, seconded by Councillor Stewart. Be resolved that the unfinished agenda items from the July 15th, 2019 council agenda noted below be referred for consideration at the next regular council meeting scheduled for Monday, August 12th, 2019. And that is 11.2.8. Report 2019-0025 Public Works, 11.2.9, Report 2019-0026 Public Works, 11.2.10, Report number 32 Public Works, 11.2.11, Report Martin's Nest Development, 11.2 plus .12, Report 2019-0013 Planning, 11.2.13, 0012 Planning, 11.2.14, 0030 Planning, 11.2 plus 15, Report 0029 Planning. Presentation and consideration of bylaws 4130 2019, 4133 2019, 4134 2019, 4135 2019, 4136 2019, and 4139 2019. Notice of motion, Warner Lands, and agenda item 18.2, which was the second item of the closed session that we also didn't get to. So any discussion on these referrals to August 12th? Councillor Kaur.
Yes, I'd like to put a motion or amendment to move the date to September 16th to our regular committee of the whole meetings, and that's the 11.28, 11.29, 11.210, 11.211, 11.212, 11.213, 11.214, and 11.215. So we have the ability to debate and have input within our community, because these these reports never got to the committee of the whole. And I also want to move the bylaws into our the meeting after that would be October the 7th.
Any,
We need a seconder,
any
Mr.
debate or discussion on that?
We need a seconder,
Oh,
Mr. Mayor.
first we need a seconder for that. Councilor Hahn is the seconder. And perhaps before we have any discussion on that from council, perhaps we will have any comments from the CAO on this.
There is one of these reports, and perhaps the clerk or deputy clerk can help me with which one it is. One of them is required to go through so that we can put a piece of property up for sale.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the CAO, that would be report agenda item 11.2.12. That's dealing with lands in East Fonthill, and bylaw 4136 2019.
I don't know whether that's a contentious item eventually down the road or not, and most certainly then it's not appropriate for me to interject or intervene one way or the other. That's not the purpose of me making these remarks to you. But I understand that generally speaking, this municipality has been attempting to divest itself of certain lands, both to generate funds and also to ultimately allow for future development, whatever that might entail. I would view this one as us getting in our own way, so as to allow future development. In and of itself, assuming we're meeting on August 12th, I think it would be appropriate for council at that point, to consider that item on its merits. Certainly, one item can be debated, discussed, and whatever decision you come to, obviously will be respected, but I think, as it is right now, that's the delay is another 3 weeks before ultimately, I don't know all the details, so sorry, I'm speaking some amount of generalities, but it's delaying our capacity to put property up for sale. And this is a staff report. It's just a technical item amongst staff, or amongst the corporation in itself at this moment, and you as the board. So that item I would suggest possibly not deferring, and the rest, as you see fit.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, are we not changing the whole layout of that property that we're selling? Originally, the previous council had a plan, and now we're voting to change that. Am I right to say that?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so we had an offer to purchase an agreement with Fond Gardens. The significant change on that was to allow 2 drive-throughs. That's the change. So that happened to that land. It was originally 1 drive-through. We, in the offer to purchase, agreed to those 2 drive-throughs. So that's the significant change of that offer to purchase. That was supposed to close July 31st. That money was supposed to go to our bridge loan. We're delaying that now. So we're costing the town money by delaying that. So we had already agreed to those terms.
No, through you, Mr. Mayor, I understand, Counselor, but I understand there's more changes than that. If it was just strictly,
If it so pleases council, I could go and get a staff member who can speak to that. I'm just not informed enough to give you
okay,
intelligent
so if it
commentary,
was
but-
just as simple
but we view
as
this as
putting
costing money.
2 in there.
So
but
the only other change was on the one side close to the pond it was a minor variance of 1.5 meters or whatever. So it's not a significant change. So, I think that, number one, we can't approve it at this point in time. But number 2, I don't think we should be delaying it. You can debate it on August 12th.
So,
Procedurally, you could accept a friendly amendment, or you could just withdraw that part of your
I
motion.
probably would withdraw that part of that motion. And
I can put it in as a save and accept. That report.
and that's only dealing with that one portion, I'm sorry.
You still want to speak to it, Council Trevor?
No, that's fine. I was just gonna make the comment that was gonna affect the other land sale as well with
Right.
the long-term retirement rate. We put that in there. I think what Councilor Corr is referring to is the site plan agreement, the way it's gonna be developed. Because that'll still have to get approved for that one, how it's gonna look.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, I understand what Councilor Corr's saying. Are we hard and fast of having committee of a whole meeting at a certain time, or can we call a committee of the whole meeting earlier so we can debate this stuff? Looking at and deferring stuff till October 18th or whatever that date is. Like, we're a council here to make decisions, and we can't keep on deferring stuff 2 months later. So if we need to have an additional meeting of committee of the whole, let's create another meeting of committee of the whole much earlier so we can actually deal with these things. Like, I don't think we can keep on, it's not fair to all the people that are involved with all these other decisions to keep on deferring it for quite some time.
Councilor Carr?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate your comments, but if we don't take it to the committee of the whole, we're short-circuiting it So when other people have to go through the proper process. So when these people made a presentation, we accepted it, we didn't make a decision, so we rushed it right to the city council. Where's the committee of the whole? So is that what we're gonna do from this point on? Because then we're setting a precedent that anybody that doesn't want to go to the committee of the whole, they could go directly to council.
But the
So,
counselor is saying, let's have a committee of the whole
No, but
meeting.
that's what my position is,
Okay,
and if someone
okay.
wants to, excuse me, through you, Mr. Mayor, if someone wants to put another meeting on the agenda, I have no problem with that.
So
But
let's
my
now-
point is that everything should be done directly the same all through the process.
So let's go to the clerk now and have, Madam Clerk, is there indeed anything to keep this council from having a committee of the whole meeting before the August 12th schedule?
or not even the August 12th, like we're talking about making decisions the middle of October. I'm not sure what our September
September 16th is the next committee of the
So
whole.
is it possible that we could have that meeting early September so we
Well-
can move things along?
If we're gonna have one, if you're gonna wait till September 16th, why don't we try, I mean, we're all here anyway in August. Really, we can't have a committee of the whole before August 12th, so we can pick, August 12th is gonna be almost as busy as what we didn't get through July 15th. So if we have a quorum or what have you, we have AMO, some of us, I believe that's August 18th, but that's after. So really, would it really hurt this council to meet before August 12th and have another, council on?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if we have meetings before August 12th, then that effectively means that council will not get a break this summer of meetings. Like right now, we have about a 3.5-week break to enjoy summer holidays wherever we're going. So if we have one before that, then there'll be people absent, no doubt. So it depends if you're gonna quorum.
And the legality is, as long as we have quorum, we can have a council meeting. I mean, it just seems to me like this council is, we're elected to do town business, and now all of a sudden, with good cause to, in respect to Councilor Corr, but really, we can't come back for one night in August and address Mr. Corr's concern. I mean, it just seems to me that we've got town business to conduct, and here we are worried about our holidays. I find that a far-fetched. Councilor, Trophy.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think this is an important subject, this one here. And if we're here now, if we can take a couple minutes to get the Director of Planning in here and see what effect this will have, because I know this one is for the Fun Hill Gardens and will be a trail effect for the retirement home, Samar Al Fashion.
Samar.
So I just want to make sure, it's in case we do have to schedule one in August, where we got to see what's going on. I don't want to lose a.
No, through you, Mr. Mayor, we're taking that one out.
Right.
That one is not a problem.
No, but-
I agree with Councilor.
But the thing I'm
Wing.
discussing is, can it wait till September, or does it need to be in August? That's the question. Now, the next question, the Director of Planning will know if it can wait, or we just do it in August and get it over. I don't want to affect that deal.
I feel comfortable telling council that the only disappointment amongst staff was that that item was deferred. They view that as going to inhibit our capacity to
Yeah,
drive
that's gonna
revenues.
affect the
So
bridge
that- That's the
financing.
one to not defer.
Correct.
If there was only one. If I can suggest to you, it will behoove this council very well and your senior staff very well if in December we have a substantive conversation about next year's schedule. We're very clearly failing to take the proper, regardless of what you choose, we're failing to take a proper summer break. I will submit to you that it will be very hard to have, barring an honest-to-God emergency, an extra meeting in the month of August. You already have, all the people you rely on for the best advice we can give you already have their holiday plans booked, and you each deserve some vacation time. But if you're not gonna do it for yourselves, do it for, I myself have a week booked off that I would like to take, right? But that's true throughout the corporation, that's true of our clerks, and so it goes. September may well be possible for an additional meeting. But that we can, if you just defer that till August 12th, we called this meeting on the premise that we weren't going to do much of substance. So, even though there's no one here, I would suggest that this conversation, we could have I can be prepared, as can the clerks, beg pardon, to help give you much better guidance on August 12th. We can prepare to help you pick an alternate date if you want one in September or not, but also thereby not have an additional meeting in August, which meets a very reasonable request to have at least some amount of time off, whether it's for yourselves or for us, for someone. We discuss the one matter that really matters to staff, i.e. the corporation, in August. And next, we'll get this right for next year, because we're hearing loud and clear that you don't want to have items come before you that weren't at committee of the whole. However, that's the concept of a summer, how we've done it the summer. What we've chosen to do here is put everything on 2 meetings, right? So you do everything in one night. Alternative, I've seen other municipalities, just next year, you pick to have July or August off. No meeting at all. You pick whichever month, and the other month, just do regularly. Still get a committee of the whole, still, everyone gets a month off, or take the last 2 weeks of July and first 2, you get a pick, you're in charge. But give a 4-week period where there shall be no meetings. That allows everyone to book holidays, both yourselves and staff. So there's a way forward. We won't get this wrong again. We have heard you loud and clear. That gets us out of all these jams.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there is a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, the 3rd of September. It is a Policy and Priorities Committee meeting, so it still is a committee meeting. If the reports could be referred to the committee meeting, they could be considered as under the priorities portion, policy and priorities, then that puts the bylaws to September 16th. I'm just throwing that out as an option for council's consideration.
It says, policy and priorities are usually a short meeting. Not a rule, but we have some priority meetings that have less than 15 minutes. I don't know what's on the agenda September 3rd, but that would be a good place to vote it in.
No, I agree with that. And through you, Mr. Mayor, the only reason I picked those dates, they were already on the calendar.
Yeah.
That's the only reason, and I don't think I have the right to dictate what dates these were. So I'm flexible with that. The only thing I have a problem with, these are important issues in our community. If we make it wrong, we're gonna have people all over us and saying, why didn't we go to a committee of the whole? Why did you skip that? And I'm not gonna about telling people we skipped it because we're on summer holidays. And again, I agree with John, and like I said, the only reason I picked those dates, they were in the calendar here, so.
So then the motion would be amended to September 3rd then, Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm sorry?
Oh, and I can bring this up later, but I was just wondering if it's possible to have planning partnership, a fellow from planning partnership that worked on the overall East Fawn Hill plan to come in and kind of give us an overview of that, to kind of compare and contrast to what we're looking at now and to what it was actually approved, just so we have a good idea, because there are some significant differences with regards to the design of the landscape and such. So if that's possible to get that individual in to give us an overview.
And you would want that the September 3rd meeting?
No, that would be August 12th.
So we'd want that, I think, before we make any major decision about in East Fawn Hill planning item. That would be a good thing to have, I think, in advance of that, if that's possible to coordinate.
Well, we can't make any promises that the availability of third parties.
No, but if we
I
can
can
try.
undertake to try. I also make that statement assuming there's some modest amount of budget in the planning department that will allow for us to pay someone to come and answer your questions, because like staff, they all work for money. But I'm happy to make that inquiry.
Great.
Okay.
So procedurally, I'd be looking for a motion then to refer those items to the September 3rd Policy and Priorities Committee meeting, save and accept. I need to look at it again, sorry. Save and accept item 11.2.12.
No,
The 1-3.
1-3.
Yeah, because
.12 is Pelham Street.
I'm sorry, 1-3 then. Yes, that's right, 11.2.13, save and accept. To P&P on September 3rd, with the bylaws to follow on September 17th. And that's just for the staff reports and the bylaws. The other two would remain on August the 12th.
Okay, so the notice of motion for the Warnoff lands and the agenda item, closed session.
Right, and then, of course, the 11.2.13.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes, Council Court. Oh,
he's making that motion, and a seconder, MC.
okay. Any other discussion on this motion? If not, call a question. All those in favor of the motion put forward? Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Implementing bylaw?
Thank you. Okay, this is it. So, motion put forward by Councilor Wink, seconded by Councilor Stewart, sorry. Confirming bylaw, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read a first, second, and third time and passed, being a bylaw number 4137, to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of council of the town of Pelham at its regular meeting held 15th day of July, 2019. All those in favor? All those opposed? There we go.
And one more.
Oh, sorry, disregard the click. Adjournment, there we go. Motion put forward by Councilor Trophy, seconded by Councilor Wink. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of July 15th be adjourned until the next regular meeting scheduled for August 12th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. And all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
Oh,
And now,
hold on.
we'll do it again. Oh,
I'm sorry, what happens to 15-1?
That's going to the 12th of August.
Okay.
The notice of motion?
Yes,
Yes, that's going to the 12th of
Okay.
August. For you, Mr. Mayor. And as is the second closed session item on 18. You recall we didn't quite finish
Yes.
the closed session.
okay, that's fine.
You just write the name on the back again and call it. Go have Barb make contact.
Yes, thank you.
See if it is
We agreed with
Yeah, just overview, so basically,
Pancakes and sausage, no ham this year and no potatoes because they took too much time.
It's not that one.
thank you. Okay, they're the ones that do that.
Okay, see you, Bob.